I showed up at my mother's place on a Wednesday afternoon to pick up the final box of my belongings. I'd been gradually taking my things out over the past month because I knew this moment was approaching. The eviction, that is. My mom, Savannah, had been hinting for weeks that I needed to sort out my life, that I was too old to still be staying with her, that she wanted her personal space again. Makes sense, right? I'm 32. I understand. What caught me off guard was the sign, "Goodbye, Moocher. Never return." Big bold letters strung across the garage, clearly visible from the road. There were balloons everywhere. Smoke rising from the barbecue. Around 15 people gathered in the backyard, enjoying a proper celebration. I stayed in my car for a moment. The box I wanted was inside the garage. I could spot it through the open door. Just one box. My old laptop, some chargers, a couple of books. I'd left it behind since it wasn't urgent, and I thought I'd collect it once things settled. Obviously, that wasn't the plan. I stepped out of the car. The second I walked up the driveway, Aunt Elena noticed me from the deck. She was holding a cocktail and already swaying a bit. She began shouting right away. 32 years old with no real job, she yelled. Your poor mom had to support your lazy self for so long. Everyone turned to stare. Uncle Tobias was manning the grill. He grabbed a hot dog with the tongs and hurled it toward my car. There's your final free lunch, he shouted. Some neighbors were peeking from their yards. The kids at the gathering were giggling and pointing. Grandma Janet was seated in a chair by the far fence. She just slowly shook her head, said nothing, but her look spoke volumes. Letdown, revulsion, as if she'd always expected I'd turn out like this. I didn't respond. I went into the garage, grabbed the box, returned to my car. Before driving off, I pulled out my phone and took a picture of the sign with the whole group celebrating below it. Then I left. What they had no idea about, none of them realized. I'd been staying in that house for the last 8 years, sure. After graduating college, I returned home because Savannah mentioned she needed assistance. Her work hours had been reduced. She was having trouble with the mortgage payments. She needed someone around. So I moved back. I contributed rent. Not a lot, but I did. I purchased groceries. I took care of fixes whenever something broke. I essentially managed the household while she worked and grumbled about how tough things were for her. But around 4 years back, I began spotting patterns. Bills that seemed off. Her claiming she couldn't pay the water bill, yet returning with brand new furniture. Her asking me to handle the electricity because she was short, then going on weekend getaways with Elena. I started paying closer attention. I began tracking everything. I created spreadsheets covering years of exactly what I contributed, what I covered, what she said she couldn't manage versus where she really spent her money. And I stayed silent. I continued paying. I continued supporting, because I was developing something privately that they knew nothing about. I'd been working from home for the past 3 years as a software freelancer. Solid income. Very solid income. I simply never mentioned it to anyone because the instant Savannah learned I was earning well, she'd demand higher rent. She'd want me to pay more bills. She'd expect me to finance her habits. So I allowed them to believe I was mooching. I let them assume I was heading nowhere, and I saved it all. I saved. I had my own place secured 2 months before they forced me out. I'd already transferred most of my essential items. That remaining box in the garage was basically just stuff I didn't need. I returned for it because I wanted to witness their reaction. The sign went beyond what I'd hoped. 3 weeks passed and my phone began blowing up. It began with Savannah. One call which I ignored. Then another. Then 5 in a single day. Then Elena started ringing. Then Janet. Then Tobias. I didn't answer any. I saw the calls piling up and I waited. By the close of week 3, I had 47 missed calls from Savannah alone. The voicemails grew increasingly urgent. We have to talk, she repeated. It's urgent. It's regarding the house. Please answer. Elena left a slurred voicemail at 2 a.m. Darling, I was tipsy. I didn't intend any of it, she mumbled. We were simply enjoying ourselves. You know, family gatherings. Call your mom. She's beside herself. Janet sent no voicemails but texted. Call me. Please. I'm pleading. Which was shocking because Janet never pleaded for anything. That woman once told my grandfather to push through his heart attack and cut the grass. She didn't plead. I figured out what was going on. I knew precisely because I'd been anticipating it. You see, the mortgage on that property, the one Savannah always barely covered, I'd been handling it. Not directly. She was unaware. But I'd arranged transfers via a buddy's account to make it appear like county aid. I'd done it for 3 years. Prevented foreclosure twice. She believed she was just getting by through her own hard work and perhaps some fortunate breaks. I halted those transfers the day following the celebration. The initial missed payment registered exactly 3 weeks after I departed. And I knew that property was already vulnerable with the lender due to prior delays. One missed payment wouldn't collapse everything instantly, but it would send alerts, lender calls, notices about account status, consequences, arriving quickly. But that wasn't the highlight. The highlight was all the other things I'd been silently managing. The property taxes due soon? I'd been overseeing those too. Setting funds aside in an account she believed was hers but I actually managed. The home insurance renewal coming up? Same deal. The water heater on its last legs, needing a $2,000 replacement? I'd been watching it, knew it had roughly a month remaining, and I was the sole person aware of the main shutoff valve location when it failed. I'd spent 4 years making myself vital to the smooth operation of that home, so discreetly that Savannah assumed she handled it all alone. She had no clue how many minor crises I'd averted, how many expenses I'd ensured were covered, how much I'd been bankrolling her existence. And now I was out. The calls persisted. By day 28, I had 114 missed calls overall. The voicemails turned frantic. Savannah mentioning she couldn't comprehend the lender's claims, that it had to be an error, that she had to speak with me about the property. Elena claiming mom requires support and you must step up for family. Janet texting in capitals. Call your mother. Call me. This is critical. I ignored everything. Instead, I visited a home improvement store on a Saturday to get materials for my new apartment. I was constructing shelves for my workspace. While examining brackets, my phone rang once more. Savannah. I rejected it and continued browsing. It rang again minutes later. Elena. Rejected. Then Tobias. Then Janet. 4 calls in 15 minutes as I shopped for brackets. I stood in the aisle, brackets in one hand, phone in the other, watching it vibrate. And I grinned, because this was precisely what I'd awaited. This reaction. This awareness that perhaps they'd erred. But I wasn't prepared yet. This was merely the start. They believed they could host a celebration over my supposed defeat. Embarrass me before the whole neighborhood. Treat me like trash. And then reach out weeks later when they required assistance. I had strategies. I'd been strategizing for years. And I was only beginning. Update 1. Alright, I have to respond to some feedback from the previous share. Yes, I realize I ought to block them. Yes, I know this is spiteful. And yes, to the commenter who suggested I simply move forward and allow consequences to unfold naturally. I value the input, but that's not occurring. I waited 4 years for this. I'm following through. The calls continued. If anything, they intensified. Week 4 arrived and Savannah began using alternate numbers. I suppose she realized I wasn't picking up her main one, so she tried from Elena's, then from an unknown number that seemed local. I didn't answer but listened to each voicemail and archived them all. The tone shifted over time. Week 1 focused on concern for my well-being. Week 2 grew more pressing. Plenty of we must discuss something vital. Week 3 showed panic emerging. Week 4 brought revelations. Savannah left a voicemail of just sobbing. No speaking. Just tears for about 90 seconds before hanging up. Elena left one ranting about how I was unkind and irrational. How relatives don't act this way toward each other. How I had to mature and end the silence. Janet texted. I know what you did. That one stood out. I know what you did. Meaning she'd pieced something together or believed she had. I didn't reply but noted it. On Thursday morning of week 4, there was knocking at my apartment door. I checked the peephole and saw Tobias, my uncle in casual clothes, appearing uneasy. I considered ignoring it, but curiosity won about his words after the hot dog incident. I opened but didn't let him enter. He spoke instantly. Said Savannah dispatched him since I wouldn't answer calls. Said there was a major issue with the property and they required my input. The lender mentioned missed payments and Savannah couldn't figure it out. And perhaps I could clarify since I was skilled with finances. I just listened. Tobias continued. He claimed the gathering was Elena's concept, that he hadn't wanted it but everyone saw it as humorous, that it wasn't intended to hurt. He said I had to realize they aimed to push me toward independence. He said I was overreacting by ghosting everyone. Then he mentioned what I'd anticipated. He said Elena faced issues too. Her landlord planned a rent hike she couldn't manage, and she'd relied on Savannah for aid, but now Savannah couldn't assist due to the lender problems. He said Janet needed funds for prescriptions and no one could provide. He said the entire family struggled and I was the only one stable, so perhaps I should contribute. I asked if he recalled tossing a hot dog at my vehicle. He immediately defended himself. Said it was merely joking. Said I was too sensitive. Said such behavior was typical at family events and I acted like a serious offense occurred. He said Savannah sacrificed for me for years and the minimum I could do was assist now. I asked how much Savannah shared about the property. He said she mentioned the lender alleging a missed payment but she knew she'd made it. That it must be a glitch. I asked if she noted anything further. He said no, just that she wanted my insight since I might understand. What Tobias didn't realize. What no one did. Elena's rent hike wasn't arbitrary. Her landlord increased it due to rising property taxes on the building. And those taxes rose because someone had quietly covered part of them to keep rates low. That someone was me. I'd arranged with Elena's landlord 3 years prior to pay a share of the tax bill for stable rent. She thought her landlord was exceptionally kind. The landlord benefited. I knew I was creating advantage. I ended that arrangement the day I stopped mortgage aid. Janet's prescriptions. She lived on fixed income but meds were costly. I'd managed a discount plan through a pharmacy, routing benefits to seem like superior insurance. I terminated it post-celebration. The family wasn't struggling solely from Savannah's property woes. They struggled because I'd silently funded everyone's stability for years without their knowledge. And now those supports vanished simultaneously. I informed Tobias I couldn't assist. He grew upset, began calling me selfish, that relatives support each other, that I abandoned those who raised me. I asked if he considered relatives during the celebration of my exit. He said that was separate. I asked how. He lacked a response. Then he softened, said regardless of conflicts, Savannah remained my mother and faced trouble. Said the lender discussed foreclosure. Said she might lose the property. Said I might not care about him or Elena or Janet but certainly about my mother. I said Savannah treated me as a weight for 8 years while I kept her stable. I said she allowed Elena to shame me at the event. I said she displayed the sign herself. I asked what precisely I owed her. Tobias said she was my mother and that entitled her to everything. Said she raised, fed, clothed me and provided shelter when I had none. Said I was ungrateful. I asked if he knew my rent contributions. He said he was unaware I paid any. I asked if he knew I bought food, fixed issues, essentially operated the home while Savannah claimed credit. He said that was irrelevant. That was simply household contribution. I asked if he knew Savannah vacationed in Florida last year, while saying she couldn't afford AC repair. He was unaware of the trip. His demeanor shifted. He asked about rent claims. I said I'd paid $900 monthly for 8 years. He calculated mentally and paled. That's over $80,000, he muttered. I said that was only rent excluding extras. He processed it, then asked why I never mentioned it. I said because Savannah labeled me a moocher, and I wanted to see how long she'd maintain the falsehood. He asked why continue paying amid lies. I said I awaited this exact scenario. Tobias departed silently. I watched him drive off. 2 hours later, calls flooded in. Savannah rang 6 times consecutively. Elena rang. Janet rang. Then Savannah texted. Tobias shared what you claimed, she wrote. We must speak now. You can't spread falsehoods about me to family. Call immediately. I didn't. I replied with one text. I have proof of all. Every transfer. Every discussion. Every instance you called me a moocher. Every time you requested bill coverage then spent elsewhere. All of it. She rang instantly. I ignored. She left a voicemail. Crying and shouting mixed, claiming I aimed to ruin her. claiming lies to damage her image, claiming she gave me everything and this was repayment. Then she said something that made me chuckle. She threatened to have her attorney review records because she'd sue for defamation. Her attorney, Savannah, lacked one. She struggled with utilities, but yes, suing. Elena rang next. Voicemail claiming I fractured the family, that Tobias was disturbed and Janet wept and arguments erupted from my words. She said I had to halt this and resolve it. She said Savannah was my mother and I shamed her. I texted Elena asking if her landlord discussed the hike yet. She asked what I meant. I said review your mail. She ceased texting. The reality is, I'd planned so thoroughly that I had additional steps they couldn't foresee. The mortgage was the opener. Elena's rent the follow-up. Janet's meds the third. But more existed. Savannah's vehicle was loaned. I'd covered payments 2 years as she defaulted quietly. Repossession loomed. Tobias used a storage for work tools in his side gig. I'd paid it 3 years as he couldn't afford but needed it. That ended too. More existed. Much more. And every support I provided was collapsing together. I received one final message that evening. From Janet. I read you're erring badly. I replied asking which error. She said I raised you better. I texted no, you never raised me. You sat watching everyone shame me. You can't claim grandmother role now. She didn't reply. Calls continued but I stopped engaging. I proven my case. They understood now. Perhaps not fully but sufficiently. Enough to realize their situations would worsen and I caused it. And truthfully I felt satisfied. Update 2. Props to those predicting Savannah would appear at my place. You were correct. It took 6 days but she arrived. Monday evening around 7 p.m. I'd returned from working out and was preparing a meal when pounding started on my door. Not knocking. Pounding. Peephole showed Savannah. Looking exhausted, sleepless. I opened. She pushed inside before words. Began speaking rapidly. Demanded what I believed I was doing. Claimed I ruined the family. Said I must end this and repair the damage. She spoke for minutes non-stop. I shut the door and waited. She ranted about 3 minutes. Said lender threatened foreclosure. Said vehicle repossession neared. Said Elena panicked over rent. Said Janet couldn't pay meds and faulted Savannah. Said Tobias informed all about rent claims and now family viewed her as dishonest. I asked if she finished. She said no. Just starting. Wanted reasons for my actions. My aim? To render her homeless? To shame her publicly? She said she was my mother and deserved respect despite anger. I suggested she sit. She declined. Said brief visit. Just needed explanations then repairs. I repeated sit because this would take time. She eventually sat on my sofa. I asked why the celebration. She said not her concept. Elena's. Aimed to push me toward growth. I asked about the sign. She said Elena created it. I asked who displayed it. She's silent. I repeated. She admitted she did but Elena insisted. I asked if she viewed me as moocher. She defended. Said I lived rent-free 8 years. I reminded $900 monthly. She said it hardly covered utilities. I offered to show bills as I had copies and $900 exceeded utilities twofold. She shifted. Said regardless of rent, she provided food and shelter when needed. I asked if she recalled requesting my return. She said circumstances differed. She needed property aid. I asked if she remembered temporary until stable. She said situations evolve. I asked when she intended sharing rent truth with family. She said not their concern. I asked why allow moocher assumption. She said she never labeled that. I played a 2-year-old voicemail where she told Elena I contributed nothing and she awaited my departure as burden. Savannah flushed. Said unauthorized recording. I said it was voicemail left on my device. No recording needed. She said twisting context. Just venting to sister. Parents vent about children. I asked if all parents host departure parties. She teared up. Said I was harsh. That she tried her best solo parenting. That single motherhood was difficult. I asked relevance to lying about contributions. She said not lying, just omitting corrections. I asked difference from lying. She said I'd never understand without parenting. I asked why she needed Elena to bias Janet viewing me as failure. She said never called failure. I played another voicemail. Last year's to Janet claiming I'd never succeed and she wondered her parenting errors. Savannah stopped tears. Angered. Said ambushing with old audio. That I'd orchestrated to vilify her. I said planned 4 years. She asked meaning. I explained truth. Began documenting when realizing she claimed my payments. Saved every talk payment lie about me. She asked reason. I said knew she'd overstep and wanted readiness. She called manipulative. I asked if more than claiming my contributions while labeling failure. She's silent. Then asked mortgage details. How I paid unknowingly. I described aid setup. She called fraud. I said gift unknown source. She said can't halt gifts then blame irresponsibility for fallout. I asked if she grasped situation. She said yes. Punishing for celebration. I said no. Revealing true finances sans my support. Said 8 years living above means I bridged gap unnoticed. Said she thought self-sufficient when fully reliant on me. She said unfair. Said if helping should have informed. I asked her likely reaction if told. She said gratitude. I asked if she'd cease burden claims. She said never made those. I reached for phone and she stopped me. She quieted. Then asked desires. Funds? Apology. What to resolve? I said nothing to resolve. Just current reality. She said can't abandon family. I asked if she viewed me family during sign display. She said joke. I said Elena hurled hot dog to bias labeled loser. Janet shook head in disgust and she observed. I asked when during event she thought excessive. She said alcohol involved. Overboard. Not meant harshly. I asked true reason for celebration. Not Elena's idea or drinks or motivation. Actual why celebrate my exit? She paused long. Then said tired. Tired of questions when I'd leave. Tired explaining 32-year-old at home. Tired judgment over me. Said event showed all she was finally free of burden. I asked if ever considered I wasn't burden. She said all children are. That's parenthood. I asked if aware my earnings. She assumed low since home dwelling. I revealed salary. Her face altered. Asked why hidden. I said revelation would prompt demands. She said unfair. She'd have pride. I asked pride in me or my utility. She said identical. Then it hit. Savannah didn't see Moocher despite contributions known. She saw because contributions. In her view, with funds for rent, groceries, fixes, I could do more. Cover mortgage. Support her habits. Ease her life. And not doing so or her believing not made Moocher. She disliked not broke. Disliked resources not fully hers. I asked if realized 3 years mortgage coverage. She said unknown. I said precisely. Asked why without disclosure. I said to gauge notice duration. She called twisted. I asked if worse than 8 years claiming my efforts while failure label. Savannah rose. Said no more attacks. Said came to reconcile I only wanted guilt. I said she should feel guilt. She said best effort as mother. I said insufficient. She moved to door. Pause. Said I'd regret. Said family eternal. Burning irreplaceable bridges. I said bridges burned already. She unnoticed as I covered upkeep. She exited. Slammed. 10 minutes later rings began. Elena. I answered. She screamed instantly. Said Savannah called weeping. Said I was awful harsh. Said accused bad motherhood. I asked if she wanted rent truth. She said irrelevant to money. About vindictiveness. I asked landlord status. She said hike $200 unaffordable. I asked reason knowledge. She said taxes. Asked who aided taxes. She quieted. Asked my amount. I told. Asked why. I said same as all, funded family while trash treated. She said never disclosed. I said unnecessary. She said gaming. Secret aid for later leverage. I asked party recall. She said intoxicated. Asked career scream recall. She said unintended. Asked which part. She wept. Said ruining all. Family crumbling. Janet silent to Savannah. Tobias mad at all. My fault. I asked how my fault Savannah lied years. She said not lies. Omitted details. I said have recordings. Offered send. She declined. Said end this. Restore normal. Aid Savannah property. Aid my rent. Return to family. I asked my gain. She said family possession. I said never had. Had users despising me. She said false. Asked name one respectful act last 5 years. She couldn't. Said family beyond respect. About loyalty. Asked her loyalty during patio screams. She hung up. They still missed point. Still saw hurt feelings or grudge. Thought apologies, explanations, persuasions of intent would restore aid. Didn't grasp I desired no restoration. Desired them experiencing long-prevented hardship. Desired understanding safety net vanishing feels. And I wasn't finished. Far from. Final update. This likely concludes updates as little remains. For those asking guilt or future aid, no and never. To claiming I'm equivalent, respect view but disagree. They shamed me for amusement. I revealed consequences. Different. 2 weeks post Savannah visit, Janet appeared. No prior call. Saturday morning during building laundry. I returned with basket and she sat hallway outside door. Asked entry method. Said tailed someone exiting. Asked address knowledge. Said Tobias tailed me from store. Unsettling discovery. I unlocked. She entered uninvited. Inspected apartment. Noting furnishings. Clear affluence. Face hardened. Sat kitchen table unasked. Said family crisis discussion needed. I said basket, said nothing to discuss. She said mistaken. Said family disintegrating, my duty to mend. Asked why my duty. Said I caused break. Asked how by ending unrequired payments. She said by deceiving. Pretending poor when not. Allowing failure perception when opposite. I said never deceived. Didn't correct assumptions. She said equivalent to deceit. Asked if she deceived years at dinners, allowing disappointment talk sans defense. She said different. Asked how. No answer. Continued. Said Savannah near property loss. Lender 30 days catch up or foreclosure. Said Savannah frantic, sleepless, panicking. Said restart payments needed. I said no. Janet said cruel. Asked party memory. She said yes. Asked headshake while laughter. She said disappointed. Asked my disappointing act. She said life in action. Asked life action definition. She said proper job, independent living, achievement. Noted I had job. Good earnings. Independent now. She said should earlier. Asked when sufficient. She said pre-30. Said supported family since 28. She said undisclosed. Said unnecessary. She said open aid proper, not secret for later weapon. Asked better treatment if known. She said likely no attitude issue. There it was. True cause. Not money, job, living. Attitude. Failing performative thanks. Insufficient deference. No groveling for presence tolerance. Asked Janet conversation goal. She said Savannah aid. Asked my return. She offended. Said family non-transactional. Asked if told Savannah when rent charged. She said different, her property. Told mortgage 3 years. Savannah unaware of float due me. Janet paused. Said if true, foolish, undisclosed. Asked why disclosure mattered. Said now unprovable. Showed laptop bank logs. Every transfer. 3 years proof. She viewed, said proves bill payments only. Showed recordings. She heard 30-second Savannah burden claim stopped. Said vindictive recording. Asked prefer unchecked lies. She said confront then. Said I did repeatedly. Ignored. Janet Rose said changed, once sweet now cold. Asked sweet era. She said younger. Asked specifics. She vague, new altered. Said same person. Ceased quiet, poor treatment acceptance. She said issue. Became disrespectful. Argued versus accepted. Asked acceptable items. She said family critique, standards, patterns. Asked party pattern. She said overdone, frustration sourced. Asked frustration source. She said unused potential. Asked potential. She said success aiding family. Asked success definition. She said self-support plus others aid. Said I'd done that. She said insufficiently open. No satisfaction possible. No explanation sufficed. Goal not my improvement. Goal preserving superiority while benefiting. Desired subordinate utility. Subordination ended. Utility irrelevant. Told Janet discussion ended. She said not until payment commitment. Open door requested exit. She stayed, said not leaving sans agreement. Said call manager if not. She said wouldn't to grandmother. Dialed. She left. Next day Tobias Facebook message. Lengthy. Said reflected. Understood anger but excessive. Said Savannah aired but mother still. Said Elena over drinking stress. Said Janet health declining. Meds unaffordable affecting pressure. Said my decision. Angry allowing family self-destruct or mature aiding recovery. Said only resource currently. Said 3 months Savannah aid for stability. 6 months Elena rent for solution. Restart Janet program for health. Said total perhaps 10,000? Save family. Said family worth 10,000? Replied asking if family worth moocher sign. Said release it. Asked if he'd release similar. Said not about him. Said exactly. About me. Not releasing. He replied huge error. Regret aging alone. Family ultimate. Said welcome family Savannah Elena Janet. Done. Said I'd beg return eventually. Need them someday remember this. Said plan 4 years fully prepared. He stopped. 3 days later Tuesday grocery produce apples heard name. Turned Savannah with Elena. Both appeared worn. Savannah disheveled shadowed eyes. Elena tear-streaked. Cornered by apples. Savannah spoke instantly. Said searching me. No responses. Must talk now. Said shopping. Elena set priority higher. Savannah said lender final deadline. 2 weeks pay or foreclosure. Said no funds. Loans denied. Friends asked. All tried. No help. Said last hope Maine. Asked why I'd aid. Said her son. Asked party memory. Elena interjected not Savannah fault. Her idea. Banner hers organized. Savannah complied. Look Savannah. Asked truth. Hesitated. Nodded. Said Elena insistent. Avoided drama refusing. Asked if considered my drama agreeing. Said thought minor. Elena apologized. Drunk stressed excessive. Own finances vented on me. Felt awful. Asked when awful began. Said post-rent revelation. Not post-shaming. Only self-impact. Savannah said both sorry. Now forward. Asked forward meaning. Said restart mortgage. Aid Elena rent. Family restoration. Asked my benefit. Said mother relationship. Said poor incentive. Elena wept. Heartless. Savannah near homeless. Care nothing. Said cared as much as they during hot dog toss. Said unfair. Asked fair definition. No answer. Savannah quieted. Said new maternal failures. Selfish, inconsiderate. Exploited aid unacknowledged. Allowed my disrespect ease. Sorry all. Asked if saying sans house loss. Said likely no. Honest at least. Said poor mother many ways but improving attempt. Second chances deserved? Said had 8 years chances. Each rent take while moocher claim. Each vacation amid poverty plea. Each silent while loser/disappointment labeled. Each chance better chose not. Said past unchangeable. Said desired no change. Desired living with it. Asked meaning. Said lose house, car, comfort. Understand judgment amid nothing. Elena cruel claim. Asked patio career scream recall while funding her rent. Said unaware. Said ignorance no excuse. Savannah anything offer. Asked anything scope. Said public truth rent aid their error. Asked why desire now. Said clear non-moocher. Said no longer care opinions. Said must care something. Want something. Pause. Said want her no all built only my support. Now gone collapse. Want no house loss repossession rejected aid requests due years claiming my work trash treatment. Asked apology amount mind changing. Said none. Asked always planned. Said yes. Since first moocher claim amid bill payments. Asked why stay angry. Said position for maximum impact departure. Elena psychotic. Said strategic. Savannah said unrecognizable. Said never recognized. Saw usable person. Pause silent. Then Savannah final aid request. Said no. She walked. Elena followed. I resumed Apple selection. 2 weeks ago. No contact since. Assume foreclosure began. Assume Elena rent rose relocated. Assume Janet managed meds. Assume Tobias lost storage. Assume coping or not. Not my concern. Early commenter asked post guilt. Honest none. Not slightest. Years small making while enabling lives. Celebrated riddance party. Moocher sign while roofing them. Didn't destroy lives. Cease sustaining. Difference. To bigger person or forgive family advocates. Appreciate but absent. Didn't endure 8 years mother claiming my efforts worthless labeling. Didn't aunt drunk failure screams at riddance celebration. Didn't grandmother nothing gaze while pharmacy funded. Prepared 4 years. Executed planned. They live true lives now. Sans my subsidy. I live mine. Sans their judgment. Still have signed photo. View occasionally. Goodbye moocher never return. Turns out only I truly meant it.